Well, hello and welcome back to our pre-Christmas episode of the Hockey North Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Brendan Paulou. Well, it's a busy action across the BC Elite Hockey League for all four of our Prince George area teams. We'll kick things off with the U15 Caribou Cougars. U15s splitting at home against the Vancouver Northwest Hawks, winning 10-2 on Saturday, followed by a 4-2 loss on the Sunday. We'll kick things off on the Saturday. Cougars scoring 4 times on 9 minutes of power play time en route to a 4-goal second period to kick off a 10-2 win over Vancouver Northwest. Caribou also scoring 4 more in the third in that game. Players like Warner Callender, Rylan Limp getting 4 points each. Several players in that lineup, I believe 6 or 7 of them had 2 points or more in that game. So Caribou starting off with a bang thanks to that power play. On the Sunday, not so lucky. Helen Turnell, one of 2 female goaltenders on the U15 Vancouver Northwest Hawks. Absolutely stellar between the pipes on the Sunday. 41 saves and a 4-2 victory for the Northwest Hawks in that game. Of course, Caribou losing a couple players in that contest due to penalties and or injuries. So one more weekend for the U15s. It's going to be a road trip to Kamloops at the Memorial Arena this upcoming Saturday and Sunday against the Thompson Blazers. U17 Caribou Cougars, they were also at home. They played a pair of home games against the Valley West Giants. Valley West storming back to win 4-3 on the Saturday night game here at Kin number 1. Caribou punching back on their own accord, winning 6-2 against the Giants on the Sunday. Of course, Caribou will finish off their pre-Christmas and 6-game homestand this weekend at CN Center against the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs. Puck drop for that game is at 2:30 here at the CN Center in Prince George, followed by a 9:30 a.m. puck drop on the Sunday against VNE. U18 Caribou Cougars, a bit of a tough weekend for them. A pair of 1-goal losses at the hands of the Vancouver Northwest Hawks down in North Vancouver. Of course, Caribou blue line a little banged up. They only had 5 defensemen on the trip. Had some penalty trouble in there as well, with Ryan Richter picking up a misconduct on the first game on the Saturday. 4-3 loss on the Saturday, followed by a 3-2 decision on the Sunday. A couple of tough breaks there. Of course, U18s are back home this weekend. It's the Teddy Bear Toss and 50-50 weekend, along with the Fan Boney against their arch rival Okanagan Rockets. It's the first time Okanagan is back in the Kin Center following last year's controversial finish to the BC Elite Hockey League Finals. So Okanagan and Caribou, 6:30 p.m. in Kin number 1 on the Saturday, 9:15 a.m. on Kin number 1 on the Sunday. And of course, the Northern Capitals finishing off their pre-Christmas schedule, unfortunately, with a couple of losses on the road against the Greater Vancouver Comets. Capitals losing a Saturday night heartbreaker at the hands of the top-rated Comets, while Greater Vancouver skating to a 4-1 win on the Sunday. All 5 goals that were scored in the Saturday game were either shorthanded or on the power play. Joanna Ketter as well as Paxton Fraser notching power play goals in Saturday's loss, while Paige Umbach scored on the Sunday. So that's a look at your Caribou hockey programs there over the course of the weekend. Of course, the only team that is off this weekend in terms of play is the Capitals. They are back in action January 9th and 10th down in the Fraser Valley on against the Rush. Of course, you won't see the U15s again until those exact dates at home when they take on Fraser Valley Thunderbirds right back here in Kin number 1 in those dates. And of course, you got the U17s and U18s home again this weekend. Switching gears to the Western Hockey League, another successful 2-game set at home for the Prince George Cougars, winning both ends of the doubleheader against the Kamloops Blazers. 5-4 shootout win on the Friday was followed up by a victory on the Saturday against the Blazers in their Teddy Bear Toss. Lee sure got the Teddy Bear Toss goal in the third period to send those Teddy Bears flying and getting the home crowd fully engaged in that. Of course, Prince George, a sizable advantage in the BC division. They finished things off with a pair of road games before their holiday break against Penticton and Everett. Of course, Prince George second in the WHL's Western Conference. They are without Carson Carls and Josh Ravensbergen, who are at the Canada's World Junior Selection Camp. Of course, Ravensburgen leading the way in save percentage, tied in shutouts, and also right up there in wins. So big loss there, but Prince George continues to win. Heading into the holiday break, of course, Carson Carl's one of 9 defensemen trying to crack a roster spot on Canada's National World Junior team, which has currently 9 defensemen on it. Taking a look at the KIJHL, we do have the Quesnel River Rush and the Williams Lake Mustangs. Quesnel hovering around 500 right now at an even 12-2-1. Williams Lake a little bit higher, 12-9-1-1. Williams Lake 4 games in hand on Quesnel for second place in the standings. All 3 Caribou teams actually pretty well bunched up. Quesnel, Williams Lake, 100 Mile, all within 3 points of each other, give or take a few games. So all those 3 teams very, very competitive as we get set towards the holiday break in there. And of course, no shortage of Caribou Cougars alumni on either side. I mean, you take a look at the rosters right now. You got Isaiah Bagri on the River Rush, as well as players like Cade Lawler also on there. I mean, there's just no shortage of them. I mean, Colton Campbell dressed for a game against the River Rush as an AP. Caleb Miller, Jaden Jakubowski, who got dealt there recently, and I got Quentin Corbiere, who started the year with the U17s. He was part of the River Rush as well this year. Taking a look at Williams Lake's roster, it's pretty much a Caribou reunion of sorts. Logan Howe, Keenan Holland, Declan Pocock, Blake Collison, Josh Gendron, all members of Caribou in the past. They're on the roster, as is Sam Bogle. He was more so of an AP and a U17 player as well. And of course, you got Jackson Dicker as well on the Williams Lake Mustangs roster. Wanted to mention too, while we had a moment for the Western Hockey League, that Cameron Schmidt, 3rd in the league in scoring in the Western Hockey League with 44 points. He's 1 behind second place Nathan Bame and 10 back of JP Hurlburt of the Kamloops Blazers. Of course, Hurlburt, a native out of Texas, ripping up the Western Hockey League right now with 54 points to speak of. So congratulations, Camryn, on those efforts so far. And of course, taking a look at some of our college players, Miguel Marcus of the University of Maine Black Bears, former Lethbridge Hurricanes forward. He's enjoying a breakout year at the University of Maine, 16 points, 18 games. You break that down, it's about 6 goals, 10 assists. McKenna Lloyd Howe of the University of Vermont women's hockey team, she was on our program earlier on in the season. You take a look at her stats. She's got 4 points in 17 games as a freshman. And then Brooke Disher with the Ohio State Buckeyes, one of the best programs in all of the United States, 3 points in 18 games there. So congratulations to those 3 Northern products in regard to their success so far in the first half of the year. And of course, without any further ado, our guests on this week's episode of Hockey North, 3 former Northern Capitals now suiting up at Red Deer Polytechnic College. You got Cameron Ward, Paige Cheek, and Gabriella Meier. And without any further ado, here is my interview with Paige, Gabby, and Camryn on the season that is so far with the Red Deer Queens. Right, welcome back to Hockey North Weekly Podcast. With me now, 3 Northern Capitals alum, all playing on the Red Deer Queens together. With me, Kitimat's Cameron Ward, Smithers, Gabby Meier, and of course, Paige Cheek of Williams Lake, all with the Queens women's hockey program. How are all 3 of you this evening?
Good. Yeah, good. How are you?
Good. All right, well, welcome to the podcast. Really appreciate it. First and foremost, obviously the ACAC season has begun. Let's talk about how the season is going for all 3 of you. Red Deer 5-2 right now in the women's hockey standings. How do you think the early season is going for you?
I think it's been going really good for us. Like, our whole team is working really good on and off the ice. And yeah.
Yeah, I think with new head coach Brett Wold coming in, it took us a little bit to get our systems down, but now we've got everything figured out, and yeah, first place in the league.
Mhm.
I feel like the girls, like Paige said, have been working really hard on and off the ice, and it's really showing in games, and it's a good like environment and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Cameron, this is your 3rd season with Red Deer. I guess talk about being one of the older players on the roster and one of the leaders on the team as well, mentoring players like Paige and Gabby, who are in the first season here at Red Deer.
Yeah, just obviously want to be a leader this year, use my work ethic and lead by example on the ice. And obviously for these rookies, hard moving away from home, so just being there for all of them.
Yeah. How have you found the, I guess, adjustment going from northern BC to Alberta? You grew up in Kitimat, you played for the Capitals, you moved out to Red Deer 3 years ago now. What's it been like for you, moving provinces and obviously at this point anyway, being fully acclimatized, being your third year and just now being one of the veterans on this team?
Yeah, definitely playing for the Caps and billeting, you kind of get used to being away from home. So the transition to Red Deer wasn't as bad, and I love it here, so it's all been great.
What made the decision to come to Red Deer so appealing for all three of you? And I'll just kind of go around the horn and you all can answer individually, but it just seems like this is kind of one of those pipeline programs where we've seen a lot of Capitals graduates, come to Red Deer or come to the ACC, but we've seen a lot of Capitals graduates play for the Queens, and it's worked out well for a lot of players that have come here.
I think for me, like it was big being able to talk to players like Camryn and Penelope Johnson who were on the team already to get their input and to see what they like about it. And coming to visit here during the season last season, I really liked the facilities and all the girls really nice. And then I also like the fact that it's a winning team and a competitive program.
I agree with like everything Paige said, and when we came to practice here as well, like the city's like a nice city, and there's like stuff to do, and it's just like a nice town.
Yeah, for me, a big thing was the competitiveness of the team. And then, yeah, I had Kira Mulder, former Capital as well, to kind of talk to. So, yeah.
Yeah. What does it say about the Capitals program that so many of you are either playing here or other post-secondary and university programs?
I think it's a great look for getting younger girls to come into the program. It like shows that there's a step after the U18 level and that so many of us have done it. It's like motivating to them. And I think last year with Hayden coming in as a head coach, it was really helpful for him with the recruiting process and obviously RJ Barra as well.
I think that just like working hard and like especially hockey class with RJ, he'd do video with us and really like make sure we work on the skills that we need to improve and just stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the Caps really showcase the talent we have in the North. And like Paige said, RJ and like hockey class, it really prepares you for post-secondary.
Yeah. Now, all three of you are from smaller communities in the north. What are some of your earliest hockey memories, and who do you try to maybe pattern your game after?
One of my earliest hockey memories would have been in Adam, was the first all-female team I played for, and a bunch of us from all over the North went to Richmond, and we ended up dominating in the tournament and winning. And just like being in that all-female team environment was great.
For me, probably learning how to skate when I was like 5 years old with my parents. It was like open ice, like just go free skate. And my parents took me out, and after that, I fell in love with hockey and skating, and here I am today.
One of my earliest memories would probably be just learning how to skate at Total Ice. I in Williams Lake. I went there a lot as a kid, and obviously going on lots of road trips as well. You travel a lot being in the north, so lots of traveling.
Yeah. Any favorite players or players you like to emulate your game after that you grew up watching, whether it's women's national team, PWHL, NHL, anybody in particular that you like to study or try and make a point of watching?
My dad's a big fan of the Edmonton Oilers, so I kind of took after that. So my favorite player is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and I think that's because we kind of play a similar game, like 200-foot game, all-around player. So I kind of like to just be like him, make plays, but can also score goals as well.
You have one?
Um, on the PWHL side, like Sarah Nurse and Marie-Philippe Poulin, and yeah.
I think growing up, every female hockey player idolized Haley Wickenheiser, and yeah, she's just a big face for female hockey.
No, that's always a good choice, Haley Wickenheiser. She's done a lot and continues to do a lot with the Wickfest tournaments that you're seeing. Camryn, this question's for you. And coming from Kitimat, at what point did you feel hockey could take you to this level?
Um, Probably in Bantam, I started playing for the Northwest District female travel team, and it was kind of an eye opener. I ended up being one of the top players in the league, and that's when I realized realistically I could play post-secondary if I really wanted to, and that's kind of when I had my eyes set on first making the Capitals to try and better my chances of post-secondary.
What do all three of you going to remember most about playing for the Capitals? Obviously, not all of you were on the team at the same time. A couple of you were teammates longer than others. Of course, Paige and Gabby probably being teammates the longest as you were most recently with the program. But what do you remember? What are you going to remember most of your time with the Capitals?
Yeah. Obviously a lot of things on and off the ice, but the biggest thing is the friendships. Like I have a lot of friends still from Caps 3 years ago that I think I'll be friends with for a lifetime.
Um, I agree with Cam, like the friendships made, and also last year, how close we came to winning a championship. That was a pretty cool experience. So,
hmm I completely agree. Definitely the friendships. Like I'm still in touch with lots of the girls still on the team right now. And then also the playoff run last year was a really exciting time.
Yeah. How does the increased opportunities of playing pro or in the PWHL or overseas motivate you and want all three of you to possibly push higher to that next level?
I think it's nice knowing that there is a further opportunity if that's a path you want to go to, as well as like thinking back home, the female hockey program is growing and just being there to represent it and then knowing and pushing them, knowing that they can get to that level one day.
I think, yeah, with the PWHL coming out recently, I think that's been really good for all female players. And I think playing overseas would also be really cool. So it's good to have those options out there and just so that it doesn't end right after university hockey.
I agree with both of them with the PWHL coming out. It um makes it so f young female hockey players have like female players to watch, and like it can be their idol and like grow up to be them and just stuff like that.
And of course, Capitals alum Hunter Mosher, after playing university hockey, she's over playing in Sweden as well with that Soto Italia program. So it's nice to see that the Caps have somebody currently that has been a graduate in the past that is one that's gone through university in the same path that you're on to go pro as well. Um, I guess any pregame routines or superstitions that all three of you have in order to get psyched up or ready for a game?
I think for me, it's not really that intense, but just doing my warm up the same before every game. And then I also put my gear on from the right side first to the left.
For me, probably like doing my warm up the same like off ice warm up, and then I have to excuse me, I have to wear these Nike socks, and I only wear them for warm up. I don't wear them like anytime else. They're just for pregame warm up.
I honestly have no superstitions like pregame rituals, anything. It's just whatever happens, happens.
Oh, just maybe talk about obviously with so many players, Capitals in your conference in the ACAC. What's the friendly banter like back and forth, knowing that some of you were teammates and now you're playing against each other. You're playing against somebody from a couple players from State, or you're playing with against Sage and Anna, Medicine Hat Call. Is there any friendly banter going on during the week or on the ice, when you're playing against each other?
I can go. It's always exciting knowing you're gonna play a former teammate, especially if you spent a lot of years with them and like before the game, after the game. But I feel like on the ice, obviously, you know who you're playing against, and sometimes you exchange a few words, just whatever. But like at the end of the day, it comes down to the game, and it doesn't matter who it is. But it's always a good time.
Yeah, it's definitely different to be playing against them rather than with them, but I think it's a cool and fun experience.
Yeah, I agree with both Cam and Paige, and even just like, I don't know, sometimes having a giggle when you guys are like rubbing each other out, or it's just like fun.
Mhm. What's it like balancing athletics and school? Obviously, it's a big adjustment balancing both, especially at the university level. Obviously, you got a taste of it with the Capitals if you're moving away from home, and with high school and of course playing AAA hockey. Does that experience maybe help prepare you to kind of balance your time and the workload, knowing that you've already kind of been somewhat doing that for a couple years already?
Yeah, I think it's almost easier to manage it here because we practice in the mornings and then we usually work out right after our practice and then we're usually done by like 8 a.m. So then we have all day and evenings off to like do school and stuff, which is nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think the CAPS program really does prepare you for this. And like Gabby said, it does seem a little bit easier. Maybe like you have a little bit more time on your hands, kind of work on your own schedule.
Yeah, I think we definitely have more of our own schedule than Caps, but I think Caps definitely helped set us up to come here because now we have all this time and we know how to manage it to get our work done. So we are able to go on the ice and play hockey.
All right. Well, we'll end this on a fun question. If you're stranded on a desert island with three of your teammates, who are you picking? Who are you picking to go with you and why?
You want me to go?
Sure.
I'd probably take my two roommates, Cadence Mullen. She's in her fourth year nursing, so would be good to have her. Tasha Barsby, she's very outdoorsy. And a third, I'll take fifth year player Jalen Bablitz. She just seems like she'd have it all figured out.
Wanna go?
Um,
Oh boy.
I think I'd also, same as Cam, take Cadence Mullen. She's a nursing. Um, I'd probably take Mia McGregor. I just feel like she has like the smarts and stuff. I feel like she'd know how to like live outside and on her own. And then I'd probably take Jalen Bablitz as well. Um, she does lots of hunting and stuff like that, so I think we'd be pretty good off.
I'd go the same. I'd take Cadence Mullen as well. She's a fourth year nursing student. Can never go wrong with that. I'd also take Cam so she can catch me some fish. It's her summer job. And then I'd take probably Victoria Longley as well. She's also a nursing student, but I think she'd be able to take care of me as well.
Right.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Nice to see that all three of you are off to a good start this year with the Queens, and good luck this season. And maybe we can do this again sometime later on down the road.
Yeah, thank you for having
Yes,
us.
thank you.
Thank you.
Of course, no problem.
That was Gabby Meier, Paige Cheek, as well as Camryn Ward of the Red Deer Queens, all Northern Capital alumni playing down in Central Alberta once again, of course, for the ACAC year. Camryn Ward, of course, the elder statesman of the three. Gabby and Paige, first-year freshmen with Red Deer this year. And, of course, before we close things off, also want to talk about the BCHL's Prince George Spruce Kings splitting on the road last weekend, a buzzer-beating win in Coquitlam. 4-3, followed up by a 6-2 loss against the Langley Rivermen. They play their final two games of the preseason schedule, pre-Christmas schedule rather, at home against the league-leading Cowichan Valley Capitals puck drop Friday evening, 7 p.m. from the Copar Memorial Arena, while the Saturday puck drop is at 6. So Prince George Spruce Kings finishing up their pre-Christmas holiday schedule as well, with a pair of exciting home games against the Cowichan Valley Capitals. So of course, that'll do it for the BCHL. And of course, Caribou Cougars U18 program, they're going to be down in Calgary for the Circle K Classic. So lots of hockey to follow, whether it's World Juniors, Circle K, Spengler Cup, you name it. We'll be watching for it. And that's going to do it for our last episode prior to the holiday break on the Hockey North podcast. We'll see you on the other side in 2026.